Before we start this very musical service filled with love, and now, the Reverend Mary Doane will play the prelude. Good afternoon. My name is Bob Koches. As you may have noticed, this service is going to be different, full of joy, tradition, and music. Lots of music. Heidi MacLennen will be giving the message on the gift of tradition. There are some of the more familiar parts of our services that we are not having today in order to provide more time for the songs. For the offering today, as you leave, the baskets will be at the door, and the ushers will take your offerings there. Oh, did I mention that at the end of the service, there will be Stollen and hot apple cider. So stay and enjoy the fellowship after the service. Our opening words this afternoon are by Sharon Woodby, called Open to Awe. Perhaps some here have outgrown mystery. Maybe you have doubts about Santa, or have forgotten the magic of a newborn child.
One might easily lose touch with awe in the struggle to do it all, or simply to survive.
Hear now this invitation to open yourself to surprise today and be ready to greet unexpected delights.
What star shall shine on you? What child will remind you that all can be touched by glory?
What gifts can you give? How will you join the holy story? I want to take a moment to extend a very warm welcome to everyone who's visiting us. Whether you are visiting us for the first time or have returned and reconnected with us after a long absence. Welcome to all, visitors, members, and friends. Here at LCUUF, each week offers something unique. Reflections from our minister, Reverend Matt Aspa, as well as insights from members and guest speakers. We warmly invite you to return and journey with us through this ever-unfolding landscape of thought, spirit, and belief. Before we light our chalice, Devorah Kelly will give a brief steward testimonial.
Good afternoon. As Bob said, I'm Devorah Kelly, and I want to give you just a brief update on our stewardship campaign. Over the last 3 months, 12 members of this fellowship have spoken to us about what the fellowship means to them, each one. They were each different if you've been here for all of them. They shared why they give of their time, their talent, and their treasures in order to make LCUUF the viable organization that it is. So 4 years ago, I moved here from New Hampshire, and having been a UU for over 30 years, I was overjoyed that there's this fellowship here. It didn't take long for me to find my niche, so I've been the chair of the Sunday service team for 3 years. I was on the team for a year before that. And I'm now on the finance and stewardship team, which is ridiculous. You don't want me near your money, but the stewardship part I can do. So I joke sometimes that if LCUUF weren't here, I don't know what I'd be doing with my time, because I do spend a lot of time for this, with and for this organization. And I know how important that pledges are to a healthy congregation, and I feel it a privilege that I can contribute both for the present time and for the future. So the phrase that we use, the time, the talent, the treasure, it's not an empty phrase for me. It's how I make sure that LCUUF thrives for everyone who walks through those doors. Our fiscal year officially ends July 31st, and so I make sure that I finish my pledging for the 25-26 year. And I'd like to do just a little bit of a review of our treasure. Now, we've said sometimes it's hard to talk about money, which is why we use treasure, but we all know our treasure is our money. So many of you have already pledged for the 26-27 fiscal year. And as of this week, oh good, it showed up. There have been 30 pledge units who have already pledged, and that's last year we had like 64-ish altogether, so we're halfway there. And the total so far is $524,342.61 in pesos, which is about $30 in $30,000 in US dollars. So the finance and stewardship team did not set a goal this year like we have in the past, but rather we're operating from a place of abundance. We know that the money we need is there and that it will come into us. For those of you still wanting to pledge by December 31st, which is when this pledge drive officially ends, the money isn't due until February. So you're just pledging, you're promising what you will do next year. And no amount is too small. Every little bit contributes to the whole. And you don't have to be a member to pledge. I pledged for 3 years back home before I became a member. And a quick reminder, we are now doing, for the first year, a year-round stewardship. That means there's more ways to give, both your time, your talent, and your treasure, and there's many ways to share of your time and your talent here. So I think that's all I want to say. I thank all of you who have stepped up to do this. Thank all of you who have already pledged, and thank you all who will be pledging in the next 10 days.
Our chalice lighting words today are by Dan Lambert. We gather together today as fellow sojourners looking for light, for hope, for peace, and for love. We gather as people from many backgrounds, many faiths, many cultures, and many spiritual paths. But as we light this chalice, we gather as one body looking to the Nativity for its message to all of humanity. It is a message, its message is that there is light, there is hope, there is peace, there is love. Now, having lit our chalice, let us sing these words together that Mary will play.
Celebration for the life that we share.
rekindle this candle offered by our care team as a flame of remembrance and love, illuminating the joys and sorrows shared among us, and those resting gently in the sacred quiet of our hearts. Let us share a moment of silence. Our opening hymn is How a Rose Ere Blooming. There have been numerous visions of this hymn, but the tune most familiar today was printed in Cologne in 1599, and the familiar harmonization was written by German composer Michael Pretorius in 1609. It is one of the oldest German carols. Here it is, presented in its original language, performed by Voces 8, and please just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Good afternoon. I'm Heidi, and I've been looking forward to this service. Oh, is my mic working? All right. Traditions. These are passed on from one generation to the next. Coming from a German Lutheran background, my family observed several significant Christian traditions. For instance, St. Nicholas Day on December 6, and Christmas, December 24, 25. These were the most important celebrations for our family. What are traditions? The Oxford Dictionary defines traditions as inherited, established, or customary patterns of thoughts, action, or behavior, such as a religious practice or a social custom. I have lived in Düsseldorf, Germany, Toronto, Canada, Montpelier, Vermont, Portland, Oregon, and of course, my adopted home and country, Mexico. The roots of Christmas traditions are a blend of religious customs and regional histories and pre-Christian pagan practices. While the celebration of Christmas began in Rome in the 4th century, many of the specific customs known today have much more recent and local origins. In this talk, I will offer highlights of other significant traditions that we as a family celebrated, but my focus is on Christmas. December the 6th is the night that St. Nicholas, St. Nick, and Black Peter, or Krampus, check each home to see who has been naughty or nice. A sock is left on the windowsill and will hopefully be filled with oranges and candy, but only if you have been nice. Black Peter, who travels with St. Nicholas, has a black book, and he carries a burlap sack. Should your name appear in this black book, you are likely to find a piece of coal in your sock, thus the association to Black Peter. This is a typical example of the German tradition with a touch of the draconian flair. However, I shudder when I think of those nights. My mother told me I always ran a fever. I was terrified I might miss out, and that I might have been found out for many of my misbehaviors in the course of the year. The figure of St. Nicholas has deep roots in the Christian tradition, representing generosity and the spirit of giving. His visits add a delightful or terrifying element of excitement for children as they await the special surprises that may come their way each year. The festive spirit of St. Nicholas Day encapsulates themes of kindness, sharing, and the importance of reflecting on one's actions, setting the tone for the holiday season. Now enter the Advent season, the precursor to the Christian Christmas. Many of the global Christmas traditions originated in Germany. These traditions include a combination of folklore and Christian beliefs. The season starts with the Christmas markets. The beloved Christmas trees dates to the 16th century, decorated with candles, ornaments, and tinsel. Having lived in several countries over my lifetime, our family adapted to and adopted the Christmas traditions of those regions, while still remaining true to much of the German tradition. In Canada, while we were busy adjusting to our new life, we continued to follow much the same customs. In Vermont, the Puritans had banned Christmas in the 17th century, believing it to be pagan. Now Christmas is the highlight of the year for most New Englanders. The winter is long, the days are short. The diversion of this winter solstice with the Christmas pageantry is a welcome respite. In Mexico, the seven-pointed star piñatas represent the 7 deadly sins. Breaking the piñata signifies the triumph over good and evil. Let me tell you about our family traditions. The first event to mark the Advent and Christmas season is the Christmas wreath. Every Sunday for 4 weeks, a new candle is lit, signifying the upcoming event of Christmas. Second is the Advent calendar. The custom was introduced by the German Lutherans in the 19th century. My sister and I took turns opening each door on that calendar. Beginning on December 1, we opened one each day until the last one was opened December 25th. Last but not least, the beloved Christmas Stollen. This tradition dates back to the 15th century. No self-respecting German household is ever without a Christmas Stollen, filled with fruit and nuts. The wreath, the calendar, the lights, and the children's anticipation of gifts from that Christkind were the ultimate traditions for many of us growing up. Das Christkind, in German culture, is the Christmas bearer of gifts. The depiction is of a young girl with long blonde hair and angel wings, of course, dressed in a white gown, who brings gifts to children on Christmas Eve. In some parts of Germany, Das Christkind is portrayed by a local girl in the community. In other parts, Das Christkind is simply a symbol or an idea. It's likely to be genderless. The idea of a Christkind, or Christ child, originated in the 16th century and was popularized by Martin Luther to shift the focus away from St. Nicholas. Das Christkind is also sometimes referred to as the Weihnachtsengel, which translates to the Christmas angel. Now I'll share with you the story of my family's traditions. Wherever I have lived, beginning, of course, in Germany. Finally, it is Christmas. Our family celebrated this event on Christmas Eve, December 24th, in our family's home. My sister Karen and I were put to bed by mid-afternoon under the pretext that we should get some rest, as we had a long night ahead of us. That didn't work so well. The anticipation overshadowed everything. So much for sleeping, however. It gave my parents the time to put up the tree, which was the purpose of this whole facade. However, it gave my parents the time to put up the tree, decorate it, and wrap the presents. Later in the day, my sister and I were bathed and dressed in all our finery. The anticipation for Christmas Eve at this point was almost uncontrollable and unparalleled. We felt the warmth of that holiday all around us. Hansi, the goose, can't tell you about this. It's unbelievable. Every Christmas we had a Hansi. The goose had been prepared and cooked for our dinner. I must admit, Hansi was pretty hard to swallow. This was followed by the annual allotment of sweets and fruit, but only if you were lucky enough to have some, since these luxuries occurred right after World War II and were not readily available. My sister Karen and I spent weeks memorizing and rehearsing our Christmas poem to be recited in front of the Christmas tree on Christmas Eve, all a part of the tradition. And these verses were long, and again, you were terrified if you happened to miss a line, just in case Christkind didn't bring you any presents. I mean, there was always this thing hanging over your head. By this time, I felt the day had been very long and a drawn-out affair. Like all children around the world, we were awaiting Santa Claus, or Das Christkind. With dinner over, the doors were opened, and we went from the kitchen to the living room. The candles on the tree were lit, and my sister and I were mesmerized by the tree and the beautiful white candles. Then Das Christkind arrived. She was dressed in gauze and tulle, wearing a gold crown, carrying a staff, offering the blessing to the household. She was a vision of purity and love, but it was the lighting of the wax candles on that freshly cut tree, or Tannenbaum, covered in tinsel and glass ornaments, with its candles, that was so mesmerizing. This would always be my favorite part of the holiday. This is the tradition that I would eventually adopt and follow to represent my own family's tradition.
Please rise as you're able as we sing O Tannenbaum, O Christmas Tree. The Reverend Mary will accompany us on the piano. O Tannenbaum, O Tannenbaum,
I'm going to continue with my story. This is going to take a while, folks, so sit back and relax. We keep the apple cider hot. Have to wait for it. As new immigrants to Toronto, Canada, our family's Canadian Christmas began in 1953. With most of our family in Toronto, it was a simple matter just to continue our Christmas festivities in much the same way as previously in Germany. And I've said Toronto, but it really is Toronto. We added the toboggans and sleds, hauling home our freshly cut tree from a tree farm. There was a lot of joy and Christmas spirit while tumbling around in the snow, followed by glühwein, hot cider. Many years later, I would bundle up my daughter, place her in a box, put her on the toboggan, and search for the tree.
The Huron Carol, or 'Twas on the Moon of Wintertime, is a Canadian Christian hymn, Canadians' oldest Christian song, written probably in 1642 by a Jesuit priest in the Huron language. Please rise as you are able to sing 'Twas a Moon of Wintertime. The Reverend Mary will play it through once.
And let's continue with the story. In 1973, I moved from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, to Montpelier, Vermont in the USA. It's way back there near New Hampshire somewhere. Taking along my 3-year-old daughter, we adopted our own New England Christmas traditions. In the mid to late December, Mac, the quintessential old Vermonter and the owner of the Morris tree farm, would call without identification and say, "You ready? I got the tractor." I answered with my newly acquired New England reply, "Yep." This signaled the annual search for the Christmas tree, the perfect one. The tractor and Mac were waiting for us by the time we got to the farm. Of course, every year we found the perfect tree. We hauled it home, put it in its stand, and started decorating. Then, in 1976, I remarried. I continued this adaptation of a fresh-cut tree, at least 10 feet tall, from the Morris farm, adorned it with a multitude of white live candles. The sight of the flickering lights would elicit gasps of excitement from the children gathered round. At the same time, the adults stood by, a bit more cautious, I might add, prepared with wet towels and fire extinguishers for safety. In other words, they were terrified. We sang carols, drank eggnog. It was a night of magic and expectation. This is an added tradition of mine, and one I really loved. It's a visit to the Old West Church. Usually in Vermont, there was a lot of snow at this time of year. So when Christmas Eve came around, we were able to hitch a couple of horses to the hay wagons borrowed from the Morris farm. Bundled up in blankets to keep us warm, we would take the well-traveled cross-country trail which allowed the horses easy access to the church. My friend Trish Geiser, who was the local calculus teacher at the high school, was already at the organ playing carols, and we all joined in. Here, the wood stove kept us warm, but oh my gosh, what a fire trap. Wooden benches, wooden stairs leading to a wooden balcony, and the old wood stove blazing away. One way in, one way out. It's pretty scary. But this scene, my friends, made for one of the most idyllic Christmas Eves. Like I said, albeit a little scary. Then some 40 to 60 of my closest friends, families, and neighbors would all pile back into the wagons and return to our home. Let the merrymaking begin. I had been baking for weeks, and the big Duncan 5 table was covered in baked goods. German strudel, Turkish strudel, Austrian kugel, bundt cake, the French Yule log, and of course, guess what? The German Christmas Stollen. The eggnog, wassail, and spiced wine were kept warm on the stove, and the glühwein sent a spicy fragrance through the entire house. I can still smell that. Of course, there was music, lots of it, guitars, along with voices. These Christmas evenings were filled with the caroling and the spirit of togetherness, wrapping us in the magic of the holiday season. Yes, these were idyllic Christmases. At the end of the evening, everyone walked home or skied on cross-country skis, slid on their bottoms, or used crampons, whatever it took to get them home safely. This is the tradition our family established in our beautiful Vermont community. This turned into an event that the entire community looked forward to for some 13 years before Bob and I moved out to the west Portland, Oregon. The children from that time have grown and moved away. But I still hear from a few who tell me what a wonderful tradition they had experienced while growing up in Vermont.
Please rise as you are able as we sing In the Bleak Midwinter. Reverend Mary will play it through once.
We're coming to the end. In Portland, Oregon, once we moved out there, I continued to have a live tree with live candles, with a smaller group of friends and neighbors. This long-held tradition, given to me so long ago, continued in all the places that I have lived. Maybe someone out there will continue this tradition. Now I'm in Mexico, where the posadas, the children, the piñatas offer a whole new tradition. I wish all of you and those who cannot be with us a joyful holiday season and a healthy and happy new year. A very special thanks I want to offer right at this time to all the folks who made this service what it is, which I think with the music is just beautiful. I want to thank Bob, Mary Dunn, Devorah Kelly, Roy Haynes, Arturo, Yari, Jesus, and last but not least, Barley. Thank you, everybody, for staying with me and listening to what my family enjoyed during this very special holiday season.
This hymn, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, just a brief word. This hymn was written by a Unitarian minister, maybe you know, during a time of conflict, as a vision of peace in a weary world. Rather than offering certainty, it offers hope and a quiet invitation. Here in this beautiful community, gathered from many places, many paths, May we hear this song as a reminder that peace begins with how we live together, through listening, through kindness, and care for one another. Values at the center of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. So may we rise as we're willing and able and sing together. It came upon a midnight clear.
This next tradition is personal for me. For 20 years, as members of the Vancouver, USA Singers, Kathy and I would perform a 20-minute concert in the chapel on the beautiful forested grounds of the grotto, a replica of the grotto at Lourdes, France. It was our gift to sing at the grotto's annual Festival of Lights. Now rise as you are able as we sing Silent Night. We will sing the first verse in English, then German, and lastly, Spanish.
All
Heidi has shared her traditions and what gifts they were. Her talk evoked a memory for me. Now, I would like you to reflect on your gifts, whatever your faith tradition might have been. So get in a comfortable position, relax, close your eyes as we take a few minutes of silence to remember the joy and happiness that are the roots of your tradition. Now, coming back together in fellowship. Our closing hymn is Feliz Navidad. Please rise in body and in spirit, and join us in singing. Clapping is okay. Dancing is okay. Let's have fun.
This is the time of year for it. Bob?
Yours.
Okay. Our closing words are by Lenny Scoville. I didn't find these words. These are by our astute and astounding member here to my right, Bob Koches. He found these, I thought, were the most poignant words that I've seen written for us as members of the UU. The meaning of Christmas, although I could have written this, not quite as well. Why Christmas? Especially to one who doubts. Are you not being hypocritical? Unitarian Universalists, with their penchant for secular humanism, are fond of arguing the validity of Christmas. Is it a Christian holiday, a pagan holiday, a secular holiday? Even outside my UU circle, there is much apathy about Christmas. Oh, it's just another day, I've heard quoted by many. I know all this, and I don't care. I love Christmas. Always have and always will. It fills me with nostalgia. Did you notice my whole service? Generosity and goodwill. And as far as the meaning of Christmas is concerned, as a Unitarian Universalist, I believe it is part of our spiritual maturation to search for and assign meaning to all the days of our lives. In this, Christmas is the high water mark of the year, a time when the world slows and considers our relationship with others. Isn't that in itself enough to celebrate? Worthy of decorations, lights, and music? The gifts we give each other at this time of year are more than just demonstrations of our generosity. They are symbols of the gifts we are capable of giving on all the other days of our lives. Gifts of love, compassion, industry, advocacy, the gifts of our shared humanity. These are the values of Jesus, the true Christian values. And if we, as a Unitarian Universalist, need to reconcile the language of Jesus as the Savior in celebrating Christmas, can we not acknowledge that through his ministry of compassion, he was in fact our Savior, by showing us the way to save ourselves. Let it be so.
Distinguish the chalice. Let us distinguish the chalice with these words written by Kevin Yago on Hope Continues. When the candle dims, this is almost spent, the light turns amber like a sunset. Still it provides light, still it provides heat, still it can kindle a new flame and pass its glows on and contribute to new illumination. When sunsets turn into new days, when seasons transform all, when the candle dims, all is not lost. Hope continues, uncertain and true, like candlelight, ready to spark again. All is not lost. Our postlude will be played by the Reverend Mary Doane, and I just want to take a minute to acknowledge how wonderful it is to have her here and how much she has provided in our gift of music to this congregation. Just a reminder, our ushers will be at the door with the baskets to collect